In this video, I'm going to show you how I completely updated the look of my parents' kitchen in just 2 days by giving the cabinets a much needed makeover. Now, there are multiple ways to do this, and I'll get to those in a bit. But for me, I chose to change the style of doors and drawers as well as go with a color of paint. Since I am changing the style of doors, I started by demoing and ripped off all of the doors and drawer faces, as well as popped off all of the molding along the tops, the walls, and the base of the cabinets. If you want to change the style of your doors, you can make them yourself, but I found a company called Front and Center that will make all of the doors for you and ship them right to your door in the style you want, in the color you want. Even better, the product is engineered, meaning they're going to be way more durable than anything you can do with paint, with stain, with clear coat to protect them. Already cut to size, already pre-drilled with hinge locations, so I just had to hammer in my hinges, which in my case, I went with full overlay so that I could kill most of the gap in between the doors on my final layout. Everything comes with a clear protective covering that peels off later, but I still did the step on a soft surface to protect the face. Now there's still more work to do on the body before I can hang these, so let's jump back to the kitchen and prep for that. Two options you have on the body. If you're going to go with painted doors, then there's no reason you can't paint the body. However, Front and Center has another option if you want a different way. It is a peel and stick veneer that matches the coloring of the doors you pick. Folks, I'm not even lying. I'm jumping a little bit ahead here in the steps, but I want to show you what I'm talking about. This stuff is called PSA, for pressure sensitive adhesive. It's a tried and tested product made by 3M where it starts to set the moment you apply pressure to it and takes 72 hours to fully bond. So when you lay it down, you do have some open time to pick it back up and adjust it. But after 72 hours, there is no getting it back up. Well, that's if you do your due diligence and do a good job on the prep work. Let's get back to that before I got excited and skipped ahead. All of the faces will have peel and stick, but the ends of the cabinets will have a panel because it's such a large surface. Because of the face frame has like about 3/16 or an 1/8 inch overhang this way, I need to fill in this gap so that I can put a flat panel here. And I just grabbed some MDF in my shop that started off as a 1/4 inch, and I just planed it down to the thickness to where this is now flush. I'm going to be applying some wood glue to the back of this and then using brad nails to attach it to the side of the cabinet. Important thing on the brad nails, make sure they are short enough to not go through the inside. Now I'm going to be attaching my panel here to this end cap. So I'm going to take some wood glue and apply it to the filler strips as well as the edge of the face frame. Then I can put my panel up into place and then use brad nails. This time I did switch out to a long enough brad nail to go into the cabinet itself and not just these filler strips. But I'm only going to place a brad nail on the back of the cabinet as well as the bottom here. At the front, I'm going to use clamps in order to clamp this in place until that glue has time to set up. I have 4 end caps that I repeated this for, and for once in my life, I wasn't short on clamps. I know it looks silly, but it's actually functional because you don't want any gaps and spaces. You're just trying to create, you want it clamped on there, by gosh. Like sometimes I don't know the word, so I think a sound effects like better articulates what it is I'm going after. To take care of the lip of this panel, I'm just going to go through with a router and a flush trim bit to knock it down flush to the face frame. Any spots you can't get with a router, you can cut back with a multi-tool. So on the toe kick area, if you're using a flush trim bit with a bearing on it, you just need to make sure that this bearing has a solid surface to ride on, because if it starts off solid, but then it goes into a hollow void back here, your the bearing is going to fall into that and it's going to gouge the panel. So before cutting the toe kick, you want to run your hand and make sure that you have a solid surface for that bearing to ride on before you start cutting it. Now I'm going to use my router in order to cut the majority of this paneling away, and I'll finish the cut off with a multi-tool. That is the prep work for the ends. Now let's get to the prep work for the body. Let me pause and thank this video's sponsor, which is American Home Shield. With American Home Shield, you and your budget are prepared for expensive home system and appliance breakdowns, and that's a pretty good feeling. They help with the cost to repair or replace parts of up to 23 items in your home, no matter what their age. As a member, when your AC, fridge, water heater wears out, just go online or call American Home Shield.
Service fees, limitations, and exclusions apply. See plan for details. You get more coverage options and fewer exclusions. From HVAC systems to plumbing to kitchen appliances, their plans help protect parts of up to 23 essential home system appliances. Coverage available no matter how old your systems and appliances are. Keep your home up and running and your budget on track with American Home Shield. Right now, my viewers can take $50 off their most comprehensive plans ever. Click the link below or go to ahs.com/April now to save $50. Service fees, limitations, and exclusions apply. See plan for details.
You do want to sand, but only to knock down any imperfections or roughness. I'm using 80 grit and a palm sander to go over every surface. The PSA will telegraph any divots or bumps, so take down the bumps or uneven surfaces where two cabinets made up with the sander. Now I'm going to go through and fill in any nail holes or imperfections, and then once it dries, I'm going to go back through and sand it down flush. The PSA won't stick to a roughed up surface. It needs a nice consistent surface to adhere to. So next I applied 2 coats of polyacrylic. The stuff dries nice and fast, but will give the cabinets the smooth surface needed for the next step. Okay, and let's get into the details on applying those strips. So you're gonna wanna go through and do all of the verticals first. And this material is not cut exactly to size. You're gonna have about a 1/16 overside on each side. I'm gonna hold it up, get a rough length here, and then I'm gonna trim it with the box blade. You can see even though it's sticky on the back, you do have a little bit of time to mess with it and reposition it. Get the top started, get the bottom, and now I'm gonna run my hand up and down in order to press it down. This stuff is very easy to cut. You can see here I need to go around the microwave. So I just make sure to leave myself enough overhanging at the bottom, enough overhanging at the top. Now I'm gonna come back with my horizontal, leaving enough room to overlap over here and over here. Once I get the bottom and the top applied, then I'll come back with the center one, and this one will overlap the top and bottom. Cool. Now I'm going to be using this tool, and whenever you order your materials, they actually have a hand tool kit as well that will come with this trimmer. I'm going to go all the way up, and go all the way back down, and then we'll come back to get the remainder with the box blade. For this excess material, in order to get a nice sharp corner, I'm just going to use a box blade here and carry it down into that corner. Now in order to get a super clean cut where this intersection is, we're going to cut through both of these PSAs at the same time using a jig. So you put this into the corner. I'm going to raise it up off that material just slightly, hold it in place, use a box blade, keeping it at a 90 as much as possible, applying medium pressure, and then just bringing it down. And I want to pull this layer up just slightly, not bending it, in order to get this little piece. Now, whenever I lay this flat, it should meet up perfectly, creating a seamless joint. Ooh, that adhesion is setting up. The last step, after trimming everything flush, I come through this little tool, and this just is going to trim it down exactly flush so that nothing can be caught on this top edge wanting to pull it up. This step flies. I think it took maybe 4.5 hours, but it does give you a glimpse on what the kitchen will look like. Dad, this is gonna be at least a glimpse on what your new kitchen's gonna look like.
That is beautiful.
You like it?
That is very nice.
Yeah, so it's gonna look even better once the doors are on. Hey, you wanna peel off the clear coat? That's the next thing. You wanna do this with me? Ooh. Father like daughter. Daughter like father.
Oh yeah, give me the top.
You're fine.
Oh wow.
You like it?
Oh, I love it. It is beautiful.
My hair's getting now that all the peel coat is off from the carcasses, I'm gonna go through and start hanging the doors. Now the plastic coating is still left on these guys because you just wanna keep it on until the very end. In order to make hanging these easiest, I've created a little spacer. I'm gonna move this spacer, putting an arrow on it to make sure it's facing the same direction. I'm gonna put it in the corner and then lift up the door and set the bottom hinge on that spacer. And what that's gonna do is locate the door up and down in its location. Then I'm gonna go through with 2 drills. I'm gonna pre-drill with a Vicks bit, which is gonna find center of the hinge hole. And then of course coming back through with the screw in order to permanently attach it. Ready for the most satisfying thing? Ta-da! Now just repeat that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more times. Something I skipped over in the beginning is how to measure for the new doors and drawers of your kitchen. The way this service works is you measure your cabinets and give the needed final dimensions to front and center. Then they make all the doors to those specs. You measure the opening's width and height, then plug that into a formula that will account for the type of hinge you want as well as the gap in between the doors. After hanging the doors, next the drawer faces can go on. So now I'm going to use some hot glue to temporarily hold the door in place. Voila! Nice. Before putting on the hardware, you're going to want to take off this fuel coat. I'm going to go through and attach all the drawer faces first. I'm going to go through and punch the holes for the hardware. I'm going to use the holes here that I drilled with the jig to punch through to the drawer faces. That is lovely. Like the variety of noises is so funny. Now let's go to the bottom of the cabinets and start installing toe kick and the shoe molding. Just like the side panels, it's a panel pre-cut, and I'm just gonna set this in place and then throw in a few brad nails. Like everything else, you can also get matching shoe molding in the color of your choice. You can just coat around any molding that you have in place, cut a miter, and then throw in a few brad nails to attach it to your cabinet. And that, my friends, is done. Gosh, what a drastic change. Even with the bad countertops in place, just upgrading the cabinets brought so much new life to this kitchen. And more than that, it was so easy. Now I did go ahead and replace the countertops as well, but it is nice to know the cabinets can do so much of a 180 all on their own. After doing this in my parents' kitchen, I also did it in my kitchen. I redid both kitchens in the same week. Enjoy some before and afters while I answer some questions I'm anticipating. I was personally worried and curious about the adhesiveness of that PSA, and after talking to the company as well as some installers, I was told that this product has been on the market for 20 plus years already, but it's typically only provided to pros. Front and Center is now making it readily available for regular homeowners to purchase and install. So this isn't some gimmicky thing that hasn't been tested. Then when I asked one installer how long the PSA can be expected to last, he answered that a kitchen style will go out of trend long before the PSA has a chance to fail. So that's pretty cool. However, the coolest part, to me at least, is the cost. For the exact kitchen of my parents, it would cost me $15,000 to completely replace the cabinets and have them installed. Now for this product, for everything I ordered, the doors, the drawers, the hinges, the hardware, the toe kick, the end panels, the molding, the PSA, everything cut to size, shipped to my door, cost $5,000. It was actually $4,700, but let's just round up because shipping will vary. I think that's magical. However, if you want to lower the cost even further, another option available is you can paint the bodies, the carcasses of the cabinets, and just replace the doors and the drawers, the hinges, and the hardware. Have Front and Center send that over to you, and then you'll be looking at a cost of closer to $3,500. If you're considering getting quotes from contractors to upgrade your kitchen or spending a week in your shop to build your own doors and drawers, then I highly recommend checking out Front and Center. In fact, they gave me a 20% off coupon code to give to you guys. So you can use the code April to get yourself an even better deal. I'll see you on whatever I'm building next, guys. Like cake. That's not an expression. What's it called? Like, it's nice and easy. What is that expression?
Piece of cake.
Oh, it's a piece of cake, of course. Gosh, I can't believe I messed that one up. I was like, it's like cake. Oh, it's like butter. That's the expression. And piece of cake. I think my face is red. I'm actually embarrassed over that one.